that. Excellent. So hello, everybody. It's quite possible a few more people will join once we get going, but I think it's time for us to start. So hopefully most of you have heard me speak and know about the campaign or have been following the Brest-Litovsk Jewish Cemetery campaign as it's been gathering pace, definitely over the recent years and definitely in the last sort of 18 months. So I'm hoping that this isn't new to many of you or any of you, because I'm not giving a talk about the campaign. That's already been done, and we have recordings of that. So if any of you missed that, you just need to let us know and we will happily send that to you. So this talk is about how we are, or where we're at and where we're going, and how we're going to raise the final bit that we need to bring this campaign, this actual memorial, to life, and why it's so important. So I'm going to share my screen, and which hopefully you'll be able to see, and take you through. Hold on, let's get myself lined up. Okay, so this is the Brest-Litovsk Jewish Cemetery Memorial, and this is all about the crowdfunding campaign and what we're going to be doing, how it's going to work, and what part you can play if you would like to, and we are hoping that you would like to. So just as a reminder, the Together Plan charity is a UK charity that works with Jewish communities in Belarus, and we support initiatives that support revival and sustainability. And our work is focused on Jewish cultural heritage, where we work together to tell the story of the past to build a safe and sustainable future. And really, very importantly, I feel it's really important with this campaign to say that there is no future without the past. We are a member of an organization called the AEPJ, which is a very long name, but it's the European Association for the Preservation and Promotion of Jewish Heritage and Culture. They're based in Barcelona, and they are the organization that heads a network of heritage specialists, museums, historians, and NGOs that are collectively working together to build the European route of Jewish heritage. And that is one of the certified route, that is one of the cultural routes of the Council of Europe. And if you don't know anything about the Cultural Routes Programme, I highly recommend that you have a look at it, have a Google. And our role within that is to we are building the Belarus element of that route. So I'm going to stop sharing at this point. It's a very strange picture, I know, but we're going to have an icebreaker. I'm going to close down this for a moment so that we can just get to know each other a little bit more. Now, there's quite a lot of us on. So I'm going to just ask a few of you to unmute, volunteer yourselves to tell us, give us your name, where you are in the world, and why this project is of interest to you. Why are you here? So if anybody wants to put their hand up, you can either put your digital hand up or your physical hand up and tell us a little bit about why you're here and why you're interested in this. And please don't be shy. I'm hoping that by the end of this, we're all going to know each other a bit more. Barbara, there we go. We've got someone ready to jump in. Barbara, tell us where you are. I can see you're Barbara Sloan. I know who you are. Tell everybody else and why you're here. Oh, can't hear you, Barbara. Barbara, we can't hear you.
She has sound.
You've got no sound. No, maybe go out and come back in again and we'll ask you again, because I really want to hear from you. Unless you're not connected to your audio for some reason. Okay, while Barbara, I suggest you go back out and come back in again and see if that makes a difference. Okay, so she's leaving. Okay, Zev, Sharon, we have, if you can unmute.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Absolutely, we can hear you.
Yeah, you pronounce it correctly. I'm from Israel. My parents lived in Poland, which is today Belarus, since World War II. I'm here because I have some connection with the partisans, and that's the way I met Tamara Vershitskaya in Novogrodok, and perhaps also in Israel once. I'm not involved in Brest-Litovsk, but my parents lived in a small town, a small village indeed. It's called Kamionka or Kaminka near Grodno, in Grodno region in Belarus. Yeah? And there is still, until today, I believe, a cemetery which was not destroyed. It's still there. It's not treated in any way, but it's there. And I'm just curious for this session to see how things are going.
Excellent.
And if there is any possibility to do something there, I have no idea. And the community is very, very small. There were about 250 Jewish people there, not families, people. And I'm 75, and I'm still hoping that something will happen there. So I'm here out of curiosity.
Excellent. That's great. Thank you so much. That's really, really good to hear. I'm sure we've still got Artur there, so hopefully he may have something to say about that. Marcelo Goland, I don't know if I've said that right.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Yes, I live in Argentina. My grandparents lived Brest-Litovsk before the war. I am very interested in what had happened there. I've researched what happened because I found the Brest-Litovsk passport archives from the Phoenix project, and through that I could know the names of all my family members. Both my grandfather and grandmother came from there. In fact, my father was born there when he was a baby. He came to Argentina, and I am looking forward if there is any possibility to research the Brest-Litovsk cemetery, so as to know if my family members before the Shoah are there. So if I can help, I would like to help in this project.
Perfect. Okay, so just in just to give you a quick response to that, Marcelo, did you hear me speak about the cemetery previously? I gave a couple of talks, one in January, one in February. Were you at either of those?
I received the video and I heard the video. I don't know if it's the one you are telling about.
Yes,
But
yes, you would have received that. Okay.
Yes.
So just to say that we do also, as one of our departments at the Together Plan, we do help people find records in the Belarus archives, and we have a great archivist actually in Brest. So it's definitely worth connecting to us if you're looking for that. Okay. Aside from this, because it's definitely something we might be able to help you with, and anybody else that's here as well. So thank you for that. That's really good to know, and welcome from you in Argentina.
Thank you.
Let's just try and hear from Barbara again, and if not, I can see she's put something in the chat. Barbara, can you speak? No, we still can't hear you. Okay, don't worry. So Barbara's actually put that her she's in Myrtle Beach, that her grandparents emigrated to the United States from somewhere close to Brest, and she believes she could well have ancestors in this cemetery. So unfortunately, we can't hear you, which is very frustrating, but don't worry. Hold on, I've got several coming others. So let's have a look. We've got Ronald, and I believe we've got Josephine, and then I'll come to you. All I've got is D. Bolgla. So if we go in that order, Ronald.
Hi, Deborah. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Very good. Number one, I think the program and the plan is amazing and fantastic. And number two, trying to reconnect to my roots via my great-grandmother, as you know, in Pinsk. And there's always interesting to find connections through where our loved ones are buried, even though she emigrated to the US. 1892, give or take. I think she left all her siblings
Right.
behind, so always trying to connect the dots. So I will listen in.
Excellent. It's really nice to see you. Josephine?
Right. Hello. I live in Leeds. It's been an extremely hectic weekend for me because we had the stone setting for my older daughter. So it's been a sad day. At the same time, a wonderful family get together and with friends and so on. But in particular, my grandmother came from Brest-Litovsk in the 1890s. I happen to be the youngest of all the grandchildren and basically the person that has the residual family history. I know nothing about her life in Brest-Litovsk, apart from the fact she was an only child and her father had died at the age of 28. So I'm here for curiosity. I will endeavor to find the recordings of your previous talks. So it's great to see so many people here. Thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. And I wish you a long life and thank you for being here and sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we have Dee Bolgla. Have I got that right?
It's Deborah also.
That's Deborah. Okay. Always
Or-
pleased to meet another Deborah.
Yes, I go by Deb. So I just briefly, my father was born in Brest-Litovsk as well as my aunt. They left in 1921 when he was 4 years old. I made the trek back in 2005. I went with the group, the Brest-Litovsk group. And I did find 4 records. I was pulled there by some photos I found in my aunt's house of my bubby. And she had searched for years for anything of her family, her mother, her brothers, they all stayed. And I found 4 records in the Brest Ghetto archives, or in the passports when we were there. They did send them to me eventually, her younger brother or older brother and 2 nieces and a sister-in-law. And then one also of the Balglay side, which they changed to Bogla. And there are several Balglays, I'm not sure how they say it, but they've contacted me as well. They're on the site as well. We're trying to connect whether we're all related. But it was just horrific to see all of the stones. I have many photos I documented. Those stones were just, and I have to tell you, I'm so grateful you're doing this. That just broke my heart to see those broken headstones. And we were taken to Branagora. I just will tell everyone, I did not know where all the people were taken that were killed. Anyone who had one of those Brest Ghetto passports was taken to Branagora where they were all shot. We were taken to that forest, beautiful birch forest. And I've never cried so much in my life there. But I took stones from my garden and brought them there, and took stones from there to my bubby's grave. So, but that's why it just pulls at me. And some of these photos I have to be on the ground there was incredible. So
Yeah.
thank you for doing this.
No, thank you for being here because we can't do this without you. So this really is a together plan. So I'm really grateful for that, for your words. It means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll hear one more. We have John Balgi.
Yeah, so I pronounce my name Balgley, although many times it's been pronounced as Bagley. My ancestors came from Brest-Litovsk. That would be probably my grandfather's parents, or some of that generation, plus or minus one. The Balgley family had a small reunion this summer, which was very exciting for the people who could make it, and the people who couldn't make it were very sad that they couldn't make it. I just want to call out that we were kind of inspired by this book, Letters to My Father, and Kate Balgley wrote this book, who just joined us here, Letters to My Father. And that describes a lot about her research in Eastern Europe in general, or in Poland in particularly, and Brest-Litovsk particularly.
Is the book publicly available, or is this a family book?
Absolutely. Let me see if I can get the.
Okay, great. If you want to put information about that in the chat, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll put the ISBN there.
Fantastic. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That's super interesting. Thank you.
Yeah.
And where are you based? Where are you located?
I'm in Portland, Oregon, USA. Some of the other Balgleys who are here are from California and Colorado. I saw Cheryl was on earlier from Colorado. Joseph Bengal, I lost you. Where are you? Are you here? Is in Michigan, right? And I think that's all that I know right now. So
that's
yeah, we're all over the US. And nice to meet you, Deborah.
Nice to meet you too. Really, thank you. Well, let's hope that we're all going to go on a journey together, because this could be very exciting. So before I reshare my screen and tell you how it's all going to work and tell you what you might want to get involved with, I just want to open up just to say hello to Tamara, who is in Novogrudok. She's our heritage specialist on the ground in that part of Belarus. So if you want to just unmute and say hello, Tamara.
Well, good evening to everybody, and I'm happy to join you for this meeting regarding Brest Cemetery project. Well, we do a lot about Jewish heritage in Belarus with the Together plan, and we are at the beginning of this process. So everybody who wants to join us is welcome.
Brilliant. Thanks, Tamara. And of course, at the end, you can ask questions of Tamara or of Artur or of anybody else that we've got on here, or Andy, who is with me in the UK here. And Artur, do you just want to say hello? You're in Minsk.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Artur. I'm Deborah's co-founder and co-director. I'm based in Minsk. I've been involved in all of this as long as Deborah. I'm also for I think over 6 months, I'm a chair of the Jewish Religious Union in Belarus. We have 15 communities around the country that we're looking after in a way, that is part of the union that we cooperate with, including Brest. We do have a community in Brest. So I'll be very glad to respond to any questions you have about Belarus area, Brest, as well as Deborah and Tamara. So I'm happy to be part of this meeting and be part of the team.
Brilliant. Thank you. So I'm going to go back to my screen sharing and we can carry on. So thank you, everyone. I'm absolutely delighted that we can all get to know each other a bit better. The Brest-Litovsk or Brisk Jewish Cemetery, the Memorial Campaign, the road so far and the road ahead. Those of you who heard me speak in January and February, I went through this, but I'm going to go through it again. I've slightly changed the last part, as you're going to see. So in 2021, we signed an exclusive agreement to design and build a memorial, and with a deadline at the end of 2024. We've sorted the headstones in 2021. That was a huge effort that Artur headed on the ground in Brest. We organized the photography of the headstones in 2021, and that was completed. We translated as much as we could and created the catalogue, which you can get to by emailing us, or you can get to it on the campaign page on our website. And that was created in 2022 with support from an organization in Poland. We commissioned the design of a memorial, and that was completed in 2023. It was approved, that memorial design was approved by the Brest authorities towards the latter part of 2023, and we submitted a building application which has been submitted. So that's where we're at in the process at the moment. Almost 40% of the funds have been raised so far. That figure might change slightly in the coming weeks. And now we have initiated a crowdfunding campaign. We initiated it in March, and it will run on the 19th and 20th of May. And I'm going to tell you more about that now. And I'm hoping that we will be successful with our campaign, which means that we'll be able to actually start construction in the summer, which is the plan. So just to remind ourselves, this is the design of the memorial. It's a design that was commissioned and created by Brad Goldberg. He is based in Dallas, in Texas. And we have communication ongoing with him. And a different viewpoint. And another one. And as you can see, there are young trees showing around the memorial complex, but the plan is that over time these will grow and it will become a very, the landscape will develop so that it will become a very established park. We have appointed an organization called Charity Extra. They're based in the UK, but they have a lot of experience of running international crowdfunding campaigns, which was one of the reasons that attracted us to them. But they do a lot of work with Jewish community campaigns as well. So we are now in discussion with them. Now, crowdfunding is a fun and it's an innovative way to fundraise. It is going to be really collaborative and we all pull together over a period of time. Most of the work is with us, but we provide you with everything to make it happen. It will be a 36-hour crowdfunding campaign. Where champions, so supporters like you who appreciate what we do, help us to raise money by reaching out to friends and other contacts, asking them to donate. So we provide you with all the tools that you basically will be sending out links to your friends, your family, your colleagues, and anybody in your networks. So it's a bit like this, and I created this, so excuse me, they look a little bit like Martians, but essentially this is us here. We are the ones in the crowd, and on the day, you will have links, you will have your own fundraising pages to send out to everybody you know, and it can be lots of people, it can be a few people. Some people like to actually create a family page, a family sponsor page, and all work together to raise money together as a group. So there's lots of ways of doing it. Typically, the success of crowdfunding is that typically smaller amounts of money are donated by a large number of people in order to reach the goal. So we're not asking for people for, hundreds of thousands, although that would be nice. And some people may get larger donations, but it's a case of asking for people to make a donation where they can. And that could be $5, $10, £10, £50, £100, because when you have a lot of people in the crowd, it really does add up, and that's how it becomes a successful campaign. In addition, we've already got pledged matched funds, so essentially meaning that every donation will be doubled, more or less. We're just working on that at the moment, but we do have a substantial amount of money already pledged for this campaign, which is why it's so exciting that we're not starting from scratch. We've got a lot of money already raised. So basically what we're asking of people now, and the work has already begun, is we're asking people to sign up as a fundraising champion and to help us to raise as much as we can that is which are the needed funds, and which you can literally do from your sofa. So what all you will be doing on the days that we are running the campaign is just sending out the links to everybody you know and asking people to donate. Essentially, what I'm saying to people is it's a bit like doing a sponsored walk without actually having to do the walk. Although I am saying to people, if you do actually want to do the walk, you're more than welcome to, but we're not asking you to. So the campaign is going to be taking place between Sunday, May the 19th to Monday, May the 20th. And you will have your own fundraising page, which will be set up on the platform which Charity Extra is providing. And we will provide you with a bespoke link, which will have your name on it. And you will then send it all out to all your contacts. As I said, it can be family, friends, colleagues, or other. And when they click on the link, they can donate to your page in seconds, and it will all be very seamless and very easy. You will, on the actual fundraising page on the platform, you will all be able to see each other. And so we can all support one another on the day, which is why it's so exciting. The other thing for those of you who are going to be in the UK is that we will have a fundraising campaign HQ, which will be based here where the office is in Hertfordshire, which will be open over the days of the campaign, so anybody can drop in, and we will have the totals running on a big screen, and we'll be watching it and supporting everybody from HQ, which is going to be quite fun. And we will also be posting pictures of us in Charity HQ, so you will feel a part of that even if you're in another part of the world. Now, 18 is the number of people we already have in the crowd. In fact, actually, that is already historic because that went to 19 about half an hour ago, just before I joined the Zoom, or I turned the Zoom on, which is quite exciting. But I would just like to, I'm going to stop sharing for a moment because I'd like to ask David Emerson Fight to just join us because you're one of our already joined people. You've already said that you're joining this. I just wanted to ask you to say a few words as to why you're going to be participating.
Yeah, hi everybody. Yeah, so I'm in Seattle, Washington, not too far from John down in Portland. I guess you could say that I'm participating, and you know, maybe this is sort of selfish to say I'm participating because this project is already paid off for me, right? In a very nice way, which is like one of the headstones that's been found and translated actually pertains to my family. So my grandparents, my grandfather's parents were just about the only ones who had ever left Brest, and their children and their children's children and their grandchildren, that, you know, they stayed until they were, you know, met their end and were murdered in World War II. But for my mom's generation, Brest was really not, it wasn't relevant. You know, there isn't anyone there. There wasn't anything there, you know, from us or for us. But, you know, actually, I would say the only thing that we had been able to salvage, or in my research, was an identification card from the Brest ghetto, which included a photograph of one of my grandfather's uncles. And, you know, so instead of a family portrait, I have this photograph of someone who really clearly did not want to have their photo taken. So it's you know, there's quite a lot of indignity in that image being the only image that remains for like an entire family, right? It's not a very good story, right? So, but in September, I read about the database, the Brest headstone being photographed and sort of put online, and I searched, and you know, it doesn't always happen this way. It rarely happens this way typically, but immediately I found this headstone for my great grandmother, Esther Got Better, and it's this little fragment, but it's very beautiful. It includes the names of Esther, her husband, and her father, which are all direct ancestors of mine. So I was just thrilled. And I sent this around to cousins in my generation. Some of them became interested in aware of Brest and interested in family history for the first time. So, you know, not only this piece of Esther that reflects her family's intentions for how she would be remembered, but it's also something that for me, it's very important. It reflects the efforts of people who are working today in Brest. So I'm really just very appreciative and grateful for all of those efforts. And, you know, I want to see them grow.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you so much. So let me go back to my screen sharing, to my now out of date 18, but that's a good thing. Basically we hope to have as many champions just like you, and with everyone working together over a short space of time, we really do hope to smash our target and anticipate it being a real success. Now, just to introduce you to the core campaign team, there's me in the UK, there's Andy who's on this Zoom, there's Josh also in the UK, Artur in Belarus, and we have Sonia in Belarus as well. Tamara is also involved. Sorry, Tamara, I haven't got your photograph on there, but we've got there are even more of us in Belarus, but this is the core campaign team. And we are going to be driving this over the next few months. The partners who are involved are the Together Plan, who are leading the campaign. There's Jewish Tapestry Project, our American 501c3. So anyone in the States who wants to donate through Jewish Tapestry Project can do so. We have Dialogue, who are our partner on the ground in Belarus. You can see them down here, their logo, which is the same as our logo, who are leading the way on the ground, along with the Jewish Religious Union of Belarus, which just heard Artur speaking about. So it's a real pull together between four organizations who are all charities. Now, you can also do your fundraising in memory of a family member or family members, and there will be an opportunity to write those names so that they appear on your fundraising page as well. So that's also an option that we're making possible. And when you agree to sign up to the crowdfunding team, which we'll be sending out a link to after when we send out the recording of this as a follow-up to this talk, you will be able to fill in your details and write your own message, and then you won't hear anything for a while because we're putting together information for you to be using for the campaign. It's just your commitment to say, yes, I'd like to be part of it. The reason there's a WhatsApp logo here is because everybody will be communicating. Everybody who is participating in the campaign will all be in a WhatsApp group with your permission. We'll be asking permission to be added to that for the period of the campaign, because that's where we're going to be sending updates as the campaign runs, letting you know how much has been raised, how much is happening. We'll be sending out little extra films, little extra things for you to be sending out over the course of the 36 hours. So that's where all the excitement will be. So just to say how this memorial plays a pivotal role in Jewish history, because we will be making history. So it's going to put the Jewish cemetery back on the map. As we know, there is nothing marking that site right now. It's going to give the functioning community a place to commemorate those who have gone before them, which is incredibly important. It's going to give Jews from Brest who are living in the diaspora or have a connection or have an ancestral connection, a place to visit in memory of their ancestors. It's going to play a major part on the heritage route that we are building, because the Together Plan is building a Jewish cultural heritage route in Belarus, where it will tell the story of the Jews from Brest. It restores history and memory. It plays a vital role in Holocaust education and helps us to understand the background, the backdrop to the rise of Zionism, what led to Zionism and what led to the establishment of the State of Israel. And those are just some of the reasons why we believe that this is historically important. So what happens next? So hopefully some of you will join the crowd. So all you need to do, as I said, is register to confirm your participation. And here is just a timeline, just so you know what's going on. And the red line here is where we're at on the timeline. So since the beginning of February, we have been putting together our crowdfunding committee. We've been creating our social media strategy, coming up with a logo, working on the creation of videos and images, building our connections, which is why you're here, and starting to build the crowd. So this is where we're at. We're starting to build the crowd. And as I said, we only started that a week ago, and we're already up to 19 people, which is really exciting. So that planning will continue for another couple of weeks, and we'll continue to be inviting people to participate right up to the very day that we launch. Charity Extra will, in a couple of weeks' time, be setting up our fundraising platform. And we are in the background will be having some internal training, so we know how to run the campaign over the 36 hours. Nothing for you to do, that's all for us. And then we'll be rolling out our marketing strategy, and we'll be helping you to get your fundraising pages set up, and we will be fully available to help you to do that. and that's with also getting your wording sorted. We can help you with all of that. And then we'll have a champions launch event on the 13th, or near to the 13th that week, where we'll be meeting with some people in person who are near to us, and definitely online, because a lot of us are going to be located all over the world. What I can tell you before I opened up the icebreaker earlier is that we already have people in Canada, in America, in the UK. We will have somebody in Greece shortly. So hopefully we will have Israel and Argentina, and I know that we've got Australia coming on as well. So it's going to be a very, very exciting international campaign. And then we launch on the 19th of May and conclude on the 20th. So that's just to give you an idea of what's going on and how it will work. And just to say that this is a real opportunity for us to build together something absolutely tangible and physical, to build a better and safer future, and in the same moment we'll be preserving the past. And this is an opportunity for all of us to make history together. So all I want to do now is just welcome any questions that you might want to ask of me or any of our team that are on here today. Any questions at all on how it might work? So David says, earlier I compared this. So David's asking, so I compared it to a walkathon, which raised a question that if a teenage cousin in his family had an interest, would it be appropriate for her to be a champion? Is this more of an adult role? This is not an adult thing. This is definitely for children as well. I would love it for children to be involved in this, because that has a lot of, it's very powerful for them to know about their past. It's very important for them to know they're a part of building the future. It's very educational for them to learn about it. In every way, shape and form, I believe that we should be including children in this. And if they want to set up their own champions page, they absolutely should. There's no cost to it, only just a little bit of time investment, and definitely the adults in the family can help. But what a thing to say that they've been a part of. Yeah. And I've got a question here. Do we have a permit of the Belarus authorities? Yes, we have full permissions. Artur, do you want to just answer that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we are to do it, you have to go through different stages of approvals and permits. We currently have the permits, I mean, all the permits for the project, for the technical project, which we're preparing, and we are finalizing everything from, I mean, design has been approved, concept been approved, the land has been approved. At this stage, we're finalizing how the actual memorial is going to be technically done. For another probably 3-4 weeks, we're going to get all the necessary approvals from different authorities. You know, there's road police, electricity department, water department, ecological department. There's tons of stuff that we need to sort of put on and get the approval of. Generally, it's called the technical project approval, which we'll hopefully be getting in 3-4 weeks. And from that time, we'll start an actual planning of the construction. Obviously, we're going to do it after the campaign. Yeah, that's more or less how it.
Yeah. Thank you. John, you have your hand up.
Yes. I just wonder if you have any sense of whether a big family page is more or less effective than lots of small individual pages.
I think it's completely up to you. I know that speaking to people who've run, Josh, who is in our core committee, he has run several crowdfunding campaigns, and he says it's really good sometimes to have a team pulling together, because it should hopefully just have the same sort of outcome. You're all going to be sending the same family link to all of your, different networks. So it doesn't really matter. And sometimes that's a really nice way to do it if you're all working together as a group. It's fun as well for you to be doing that together. So by all means, you know, you speak to your family, and if you all want to do that, and then you all will be, you know, running up to the campaign, writing your own lists of who you know, or you might just want to send it out to everybody. But sometimes it's really nice to warm people up and say, we're doing this, it's really exciting, you know, and give them some kind of heads up ahead of the time, because so that they know it's coming. And if they know more about it, they'd be more inclined to support it. If it just lands with them on the day, they're going to go, what? If they know it's coming, they can be part of the vibe and the excitement, especially if they can see that your totals are going up and they feel they've helped you to achieve that. So that would be, it's completely personal, but it's a nice way to do it. So for example, I'm in a business networking group. I've been a member for almost 11 years, and it's a mixture of Jewish and non-Jewish people, but we are going to be, Josh is also a member of that same group, as is our chairman, and we are going to be asking that whole group to be setting up one page as the network, and asking them all on the day to ping it out to all of their friends, family, relatives, and say, this is a charity that we've been involved in for, you know, 11 years, please make a contribution. You know, that's 55 members, which should hopefully raise us, you know, a decent amount of money. You know, the give back is that I have to sort of obviously support their businesses, but that's absolutely fine. I do that anyway, so it works both ways. But yeah, so that's going to be quite exciting. Does anybody else have any other questions? Oh, somebody said, can Zev, I'll come to you, hold on. Somebody asked, can donations be submitted before or after the campaign dates? Yes, they can. Charity Extra are also suggesting that we might want to do a soft launch, so that, you know, there'll be a run into it, and some people may decide they want to already, you know, make a donation. It will be live, it will be on, it will have a countdown, but if people already want to say no, that they know it's up and they want to make a donation, that can happen. So sometimes some of these campaigns, by the time they go live, and they launch, there's already money on the thermometer, on the target, which is great, which is, you know, a really good way to do it. What happens also, just to let you know, is that sometimes with crowdfunding is you hit your target, which is great, but then you make a decision to go to something called a bonus round, and you can actually say, we're going to keep it running because we can raise money for, we can continue to raise money for the charity, for potentially for the heritage route. So we will have something in the background to say to people, guys, we've done it, we've hit the target, this is amazing, but don't stop sharing, because actually we're going to try and raise an extra bit for the charity, for the charity's projects, which would be a bonus. So yes, but you can still continue. If it doesn't close to donations, it basically closes off by the sort of official end, but you can still make donations. So yes, Kate Bagley has said, I don't know why our chat has been set so that I'm the only one seeing the comments, which is quite frustrating. But just to say, Kate Bagley has said greetings to all Briskers. I'm just sharing her message with you. Zev, you had something to ask.
Yeah, what kind of toolbox, I'll call it, we get to describe, to persuade people to donate? People who are not involved in Brest-Litovsk or even Belarus.
Absolutely. So we will have a very compelling wording on the front page of the actual campaign. And we can help you, if you decided you wanted to participate, to put some wording together on your own personal page. And it may be something to say that, you know, I have a particular interest in this charity. I feel that they're doing really important work at this time. And, you know, I'm reaching out to you to help us to achieve something historic for the Jewish world. You know, Brisk is, to anybody in the religious communities, is incredibly significant. If you say Brest-Litovsk to anybody from the sort of religious world, they might not know what you're talking about. If you say Brisk, they'll know. It holds a really important part of our history. And because of the Soviet Union, because Jewish narratives were suppressed during the Soviet period, a lot of people just don't know about the story of the suffering of the Jews of the Soviet Union. Certainly very few people know about the Holocaust and what happened. You know, I mean, we run a program called Making History Together, ironically, which is a Holocaust education program, which brings into focus the suffering of the Jews of the Soviet Union, and particularly Belarus, where we say that, you know, 2.7 million of the 6 million were in the Soviet Union, and their plight, their end was very different to what happened in Western Europe. You know, it was shootings, it was Holocaust by bullets. And very few people really know about that. And so this memorial, not only will it be a memorial to, you know, it's a lost cemetery, but it tells the story of what happened to the Jews of Belarus, of Brest. Where, you know, why did that happen? Why did that cemetery disappear? It's all interconnected with the story of the destruction of the whole community between 1941 and 1943. Which is why it's a real piece of history in the making. And also, just to say that to bring this to a reality it will be the first time that any a memorial such as this has been created, and Artur, correct me if I'm wrong, from the Jewish community from the global Jewish community coming together to create something on the ground. That it hasn't been put there by the Belarusian authorities. It's a completely unique come together, and what it will prove is that these things are possible, because we will bring it to completion, and it will give more people around the world confidence that these sorts of things are possible. And in Belarus, there is an unbelievable amount of Jewish history yet to be told. Artur, am I correct in saying that?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question, Zeev.
Not completely. Do we get things like a map, something in written, something in pictures?
We can provide you with anything that you want, and we can provide you with words. We will be providing you with marketing materials that you can share with people. But if you want more information from a historic point of view, we will be more than happy to give that to you, that you can share with the people that are in your network with pleasure. And we have all of that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Debs.
Thank you. I just wondered, can we personalize the page with our own images, like the family, to really bring our story to this project?
Absolutely. You can upload an image. I believe you can put one image, but I will find out that if you can put more. But yes, you can, and you can definitely say if it's in memory of you know, family, but your message will be your message. You will completely personalize your own pet sponsor page.
Great. I think that would really tell that collectively this will be a very powerful story.
Absolutely. And we want that. We want for you to personalize it so that more people who look at the different, you know, pages, because it will all be, everybody's pages will be seen on the platform, and it will really show, you know, if David Emerson Fite is telling the story of his, you know, discovery, if you're telling, you know, your story and your family, that becomes really powerful. And the more people we have doing that will really encourage more people to give.
I think just to add that there was the group that went with us to Belarus and to Brest-Litovsk. They had lots of different family in different small shtetls. We all went out further, and a lot of them did restore the smaller cemeteries, because we did go to Kobrin, and people did, but there were no memorials actually like this that really showcased the breadth and depth. They did things to clean them up, and but there's just something about Brest and this area that is so powerful and poignant. As far as I know, the only ones that have those Brest ghetto passports with a photograph, a thumbprint, a signature, where they all lived. I saw that my family was together in the same apartment building. I mean, it's so that link was just very, very powerful. So
absolutely. And what we hope is that by building this memorial, we will be able to open up all of this history and tell people about this. People will be able to go there. They'll be able to find out more. It's just been, you know, suppressed, and we've got to change that.
I agree. Thank you again for doing it.
It's my pleasure. Barbara, I don't know if we can hear you.
Well, can you now?
Yes, we can hear you.
I figured out what was wrong. So that was part of why I wanted to. But I also had a question. When did you say that the page is likely to be up on Charity Extra?
Hopefully, let me just check my timeline. Hold on, because we're working with them at the moment. The actual page is, we are hoping to have it live. They will be setting that up by the beginning of April, I'm hoping, and obviously we'll be letting you know once that's up, and you will start to be adding your pages once you register to be part of the campaign.
Well, that's great, because one thought I had was that I use Facebook a lot and other social media, and I'm going to post something there, but my birthday is in early May, so I thought that's the perfect Facebook, what I want for my birthday kind of thing this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, somebody contacted me and said, it might have been David actually, yes, who said he was thinking of doing a Facebook campaign. And I said, don't do it yet. Hold off and wait till this goes up, because then that's a much better way to do it. Also, any fundraising through Facebook is always quite complex in retrieving the funds. It's quite a bit of a nightmare. But I wouldn't discourage anybody if they really want to do it. But you know, this is we don't want to ask people to sort of support now when we're going to be doing it in May. I'm saying hold off and let's all go together and make this very compelling. And the other thing is that we're going to be putting we're going to be building up traffic on our social media pages, on Jewish Tapestry Project and on the Together Plan, and so then you can obviously be sharing anything that we put there, and you know, all of the assets that we send to you saying it's coming, it's, you know, the little films that we've got, you can be sharing those, and I'm hoping that we'll collectively be able to you know, create a real buzz around this. Yes.
Well, my thought was that that even since my birthday is earlier, I'm thinking that's exactly what I was thinking, that I will post, you know, this is the charity I want you to do, watch this page kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. No, definitely. 100%. 100%. It's a great idea. Thank you, Barbara. Sharon.
Yeah, I did not have the opportunity to see the prior videos, and forgive me if this has been explained many times. I'm grateful that you're doing this around Brest-Litovsk, because as you saw in my email that I sent you yesterday, I have a lot of people that were in Brest-Litovsk. But how was it that you selected Brest-Litovsk in particular when there were so many different communities in Belarus and elsewhere?
So and what we'll do is, it's interesting that you didn't see. So we will when we send out our follow-up communique, we'll add the link to the recording so that you can watch the previous talk. But basically this what happened was, in 2013, Artur was in Brest, and he was taken to an area where some of the headstones that had been found were being stored. They were under the arches of a municipal building. It's the fortress, the Brest Fortress. It's a big fortress in Brest, and there was an area sort of outside but undercover where they'd given the Jewish community space to store these headstones that were being discovered, and more and more people started finding them in their gardens, in their fields, and some of them were dredged out of the river. And it became a thing, and they really started coming back, and so they were all being put under the arches of the Brest Fortress. Artur saw them, was taken there, and he sent me a photograph in 2013 of a huge, great big matzeva lying on its side in amongst a whole load of rubbish, and I couldn't quite make out what I was seeing. It's not where you normally see a Jewish gravestone, right? And I said, what is this? And he said, I'll explain. Anyway, he said to me when he was back in Minsk, this is what's happening. And I said, I really want to see this. So I traveled to Belarus in 2014 and I saw it with my own eyes, took lots of my own photographs. And while we were there, and this happened over several visits, there was a call from a local construction company. They were digging up the foundations of some land to build a supermarket. And they had dug up, as they were digging up the land, a whole load of Jewish gravestones. And they called the community center and we all jumped in the car and went over, and I took loads of photographs. And we you know, a whole load more headstones were found. We had them picked up, taken over to where the others were, and that has continued to happen. And I said to our tour, this is not okay. You know, this is not okay that they're just being, you know, collected, but something has to be done with them, and particularly as there was so much rubbish being put on them. They were accessible for anybody to climb on. We raised money for a fence, and it became this campaign. We became very immersed in it. It's a long story. You should watch the video.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
it's thanks to our tour.
absolutely. Well, it was our tour who brought it to my attention, and then we kind of went on this. We've been on a very, very long journey with these gravestones, and it has not been a very straightforward journey, and it wasn't until we got the exclusive agreement signed in 2021 that we were able to actually start working with them properly.
And what was I going to say? Once the memorial is built, will there be some sort of an opening?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Most definitely, we will have an opening. Absolutely, we will keep you posted on that.
And you're very welcome to come to the opening.
Yeah. Thank you.
Just to share with you, Kate Balgley, I hope I've said that right, has said in the chat that she's in San Diego, California. John mentioned and showed my book about my search in Poland and Belarus for family records. It's available worldwide. It's called Letters to My Father, Excavating a Jewish Identity in Poland and Belarus. Beshert publisher, August 2022. Also available as an audiobook. My father was born in Brisk, Brest-Litovsk in 1912, came to the United States with his mother and siblings in 1920. I lived in communist Poland for 2 years as a Fulbright professor and went to Brest later. Balgli is pronounced Bal, like Bal in Shem Tov, Bal Shem Tov. Notice the first L, and Gli is from the Yiddish for faith. Huh. That's fascinating. What we'll do is we'll put that information into our follow-up email so that you've all got a link to the book as well. So I'll make sure you all get that as well. Thank you for that, Kate. Amazing. I will be ordering that book. Any other questions? I mean, what I will say is that we are available all the time. If you come up with anything else you want to ask us beyond this space, then, you know, obviously we will just email us and, you know, be in touch. Some of you have got my contact details, but, you know, you can get to us through the contact@thetogetherplan.com email address. We are very available and we want to be able to answer all your questions. It's really important that we become really, really connected over the next few months as we go on this journey. Hopefully many of you will sign up and be part of it, because it really will be very, very exciting to be part of and to actually make something like this come to life. You know, I think particularly with what's going on in the world right now, I think it's a good story, and I think we all need to be part of it. Yes, Debs.
Can you just, I didn't quite get after watching the previous video, and have they removed the soccer field from the cemetery?
No. So the soccer, you know, go on, Artur.
Yeah, I mean, there is still a soccer field, but the spot that we're going to be constructing on is behind the soccer field, but it was a part of the cemetery as well. So we'll have the memorial. We're gonna build it. There will still be a soccer field, but we're hoping which already had a conversation with municipality. As soon as we build it, we can start the conversation about removing the soccer field and possibly making it as a park, because for the town itself, it's gonna look really strange when you have a quite a beautiful memorial neighboring an ugly stadium. So I think that's the next step, but we have to make a first step, because we have to make an initial step to do it, and then we'll have an opportunity to negotiate with authorities, and it's and come to the stage 2 and say, look, I mean, it doesn't look really good when there is a soccer field and there's a track and people are running, especially as we know there is somewhere there's like a famous rabbis are buried, Soloveitchik is buried there, and they don't know where. So if they open the whole thing as a park, obviously people can visit. And going back to the question, I mean, how did we choose Brest? I don't think, well, I was thinking about that, and I don't think we chose Brest. I think Brest chose us, because when you face thousands of headstones that are just lying around for 25 years, and the whole world, the communities, the charities, the big Jewish organizations, the whole movement doesn't do anything about probably the most famous town in former Poland, now Belarus, Brisk, and no one is really paying attention, and they're just there. I mean, I think as a Jew, as a person, as an organization, we couldn't just pass by, and we couldn't just see and let it just lie around there. And I hope that Brest is not the last, and Brest will be actually first, because going through Belarus, yes, we do have place. I mean, probably Brest is most significant where the headstones have survived. I mean, they have been disgraced. They've been lying around. They've been lost in a way, but they're still there. Other towns, other smaller villages, shuttles, they don't have as much. So it will be probably an easier job to kind of put them together, or at least put them to rest, or bring them to the cemetery, or make a little memorial, or just fence them. But I think it's always worth a start. And if we show the world that we can, then everyone else will start thinking, and will start to have the same mentality. Because until now, there is no lapidarium type of any other memorials, where there are cemeteries where the headstones are just in the ground where the burial is, but their shape in many places is disappearing. I mean, they're going into the ground. Grass is not being cut. I would say there are very few places where the cemeteries are looked after, and I can tell you that those places are going to be disappearing as well, because someone is looking after now. In 10, 15 years, 20 years, no one is going to be looking after them, and they will disappear from Earth, and we'll just have the memory. So if we kickstart the Brisk one, we can go to the next one, and we can at least be doing something and building something for the future generation as a heritage site, as a point, or just like a description or lapidarium, just to tell the history of the Jews of this land. I mean, it's our history. It's not just just the history. It's the history of all of us. So I think if every person and every Jew in the world will take part in this, I think that the future world will become better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One thing I would say is that if you know of other people, maybe Debs, if you traveled there with other people and they're not here, and you might want to share this with them and they might want to participate, please pass it on to them and let them know it's happening. And that goes for, anybody, anywhere, wherever you are. So, I don't know who your wider connections are, but, if I know that a lot of Jews from Brest did go to Argentina. I don't have any connection other than Marcello to Argentina. So if that's something that the Argentinian community might be interested in, you know, the wider community there, because there were many Jews that we know of that went from Brest to Argentina. So there may be others, such as yourself there, Marcello, who might want to know.
I know that I was driving because I had this electricity crisis, and Marcello has asked something that you, Deborah, mentioned that I might sort of come back to Marcello with, but I didn't hear that. So if there's anything I can sort of answer now, I'm happy to do that, Marcello.
Sorry, is there a question for me?
Yeah, you were asking something, I guess. I was driving and I couldn't hear you speaking, and I thought
I said that I have written some article about the Brest Ghetto Act.
Okay.
Find out the names of my family. One thing I would like to know is if there is any database of the gravestones that have been found with the names of at least the graves that they will be found, that were found. Is it possible to read them?
Yes, so we'll also send out with our follow-up follow-up email. We'll send you the link where you can access it. And you know, that is how David found his great-great-grandmother's details. They're very a lot of the pieces are very broken, so a lot of the information is missing off a lot of the pieces. So you know, but there are 25 pages on this catalogue. There's 1,249 photographs of pieces of gravestones that we were able to capture. So, you know, we will send that to you as a follow-up to after this talk, and you'll be able to have access to it then.
Okay, thank you very much.
My pleasure, absolute pleasure.
On top of it, we're researching because there is some information, I mean, not a lot, but about the death certificates in archive of the people who died in Brest during that period of time. So we are collecting those names as well, and we're going to be posting them as well, because there might not be a headstone, but there would be an information about the person who was buried at the cemetery, and they will give an extra information, extra names. So, I mean, the stone might not be there, but the body is there. So we're trying to get as much as possible information out for you to look at and to pass on to your family and friends.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to mention that besides Argentina, my family ended up in Costa Rica and in Mexico, from Brest. And then some of them are still there in Costa Rica, and some of them made it. They couldn't get into the United States, so they went to Mexico, and from Mexico to Costa Rica. But some of them did make it to the United States during World War II, but they were in Costa Rica.
Wow. So, I mean, what I would say is that, you know, each of you has a network. And if you have family or relatives who are connected to this in other places, you might want to share what, you know, this is recorded, so you can always, you know, share this recording, because we're going to be sending you this recording. You know, if anybody else that you know might want to join this campaign, that's great, because, you know, the more networks we reach out to, as I said, we're not asking people to give. We're certainly not asking you to give money, although, of course, if you want to make a donation to your own page, that's up to you. But we're asking you for your time. But you know, the people you're going to be asking can just give whatever they can give. You know, it doesn't have to be huge amounts. The way crowdfunding becomes successful is when it all adds up. And when you have enough people in the crowd. So, you know, the plan at the moment, the work I'm doing at the moment is growing the crowd. So I'm hoping that some of you here this evening will sign up and join that crowd. And that's going to be really compelling and very, very exciting. And it will, as we bring this to life, you know, as a charity, we need to have the support in order to do the work that we're doing, in order to get into the archives, in order to be able to supply more information to more people, and also then get more information out to people through our website. So it goes on, and there's a huge amount that we can do. If we have the support and the interest, and I believe the interest is there. And as I say, right now, with the world being the way it is, it's really important that we shine a light on this history as much as we can. So I've put, hopefully you can see it. I've put our contact details in the chat. Hopefully you've seen it, you can see it. But I think you all know where to find us. We are here to answer all your questions, to give you all resources available, and hopefully you will participate in what I believe is going to be an incredibly compelling campaign, and we will do everything we can to support you through it. We are completely at your service to make this a reality. Also Barbara said that her step-grandmother's family also went to Mexico. And there is a big Jewish community in Mexico, so if anybody has a connection to anybody in Mexico so that we can share this information with people there, as I say, pass this on. Please give them our contact details, and we'll be happy to tell them more. So if you can help us to spread the word, that would be amazing. So stand by. We are going to be in touch with you in the next sort of hopefully 12 to 15 hours. Andy's going to be getting her next bit together. Our post event email. We'll send you all this information. We'll give you the registration link so that you can actually officially sign up to be part of the campaign. Please ask us any questions beyond this that you haven't asked here. We will answer them straight away. And we will be in touch with more information shortly about how this is all going to develop. And we're going to be successful. We're going to make this happen. We're going to make history. Thank you all for being here. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.